Brown-Fuller to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr Mundell, and it is a pleasure to open this debate on the importance of a creative arts education. I refer members to my register of interests, both as chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Performing Arts and Education and also as trustee of Chichester Festival Theatre. Throughout December, my diary, like all members across the House, is jam-packed with wonderful celebrations across our constituencies that feature a celebration of the arts, be it carol concerts in local churches, school plays and pantomimes. I've loved the live music on my high street at the Chichester Christmas Market. I had a fantastic time being the guest judge at the Priory Park pantomime. And once the house rises, I'll be off to enjoy the Chichester Festival Youth Theatre's production of Cinderella with my family, a professional production on the main stage. A stage that I had the privilege of performing on as a member of that very same youth theatre, an experience that I still treasure as an adult and one that encouraged me to continue my education in the creative arts. After studying drama at GCSE and A-level, I went on to Chichester University and obtained a degree in performing arts. And before this giddy world of politics ensnared me, I had the privilege of teaching the next generation performing arts at various organisations and in schools. And I am living proof that a creative education can lead you anywhere, including to this place. Mr Mundell, the arts and cultural sector contribute well over £8 billion each year to the UK economy. It puts £2.5 billion directly into the Treasury through taxation, and the creative industries as a whole generated £125 billion in 2022. They account for almost 6% of the UK economy, create 2.5 million jobs, and has a huge impact on the tourism economy, with 1 in 10 tourists to the UK visiting a theatre. Theatres sell 34 million tickets a year across the UK. We have a duty as a country. Happily give way.
Thank you, Mr Mundell. She's making an excellent speech. May I commend her for work in this area. Does she agree with me that there are many wonderful venues which could be developed across towns and cities in this country? In my area, Reading Jail has incredible potential. It's been derelict for some time. It's bought recently. We're trying to see what arts provision can be provided there. Does she agree with me that there's enormous scope for developing more theatre and art space across the country, and this can provide incredible value to local communities?
I thank the Honourable Member for his intervention, and I commend him on his work in this particular area, trying to get Reading Jail opened as an art space. And I refer to a project in Selsey, in my constituency, which is trying to restore a beautiful old pavilion that used to hold many an event and then was left to go to rack and ruin. And the Selsey Pavilion Trust are working tirelessly to try and get that venue up and running so that the Selsey community can enjoy arts once again in their own town. Because we do have a duty as a country to ensure that the next generation of employees are suitably equipped to join a sector that can drive the growth and innovation that the UK needs more than ever. We must ensure that a career in the arts continues to be seen by our young people as a viable and valuable choice well into the future. And I remember having that debate with my mum in an Italian restaurant at the age of 18 after I had been accepted to go to university to study business, and I confessed that I was following that path so I could go and get a proper job, and that I didn't believe she could possibly support me in following my real desire to go and study theatre. Luckily, she did, and it paid off because I turned down that place at university, and a year later went to Chichester University to study theatre. And my degree not only taught me the craft of performing arts, but also developed valuable personal and employment skills such as collaborative working, demonstrating initiative and problem solving. And I want to be clear, Mr Mundell, that the creative arts are a broad field that includes many artistic disciplines. So although my background is performing arts and drama, when I talk about a lack of creative arts in our education system, I am referring to not just drama, but music, dance, visual arts, creative writing, textiles, and the design and technology subjects. In this debate, I would like to focus on the structure of the English Baccalaureate. and the failure to include arts subjects, which is putting arts education in an urgent state of crisis in the UK and will have a wider impact on the creative sector if not addressed by this government. The English Baccalaureate requires children to take up GCSEs in several subjects, none of which are in the arts. Since the introduction in 2010, arts subjects have seen a drastic decline in the number of students taking them further in their education, with drama seeing a 29% decrease, there's been a 24% decrease in music, and the 6 design and technology subjects have reduced by 65%. You compare that to geography, which has seen an increase in 42%, history an increase in 33%, and the single sciences are up by 38%. This is very apparent in my constituency, where Chichester College are investing in a state-of-the-art STEM building, which is due to open shortly, and I applaud their work in getting that building up and running, while cancelling their drama A-level this coming year to new students due to a lack of take-up, which has upset multiple students in the Chichester constituency. Happily give way.
I come from Falmouth, which has a world-leading arts university, and the idea of STEAM, where you have the arts, so you have the creativity of the arts that unlocks some of the creativity in science and tech, and that's where you get breakthroughs. Would the honourable member agree?
I thank the honourable member for her intervention, and I'm glad that she's the first person in the room to raise STEAM, because adding arts to the STEM subjects is a really viable way of making sure that we open up the curriculum in such an important way. And I note that when I visit private schools in my constituency, that their arts departments are flourishing. And an article in the Times in November found that nearly half of all BAFTA-nominated film and television directors were educated at independent schools, and 1 in 6 was educated at Oxford or Cambridge, which highlights the stark class inequalities in access to the creative industries, which will worsen if the trend for deprioritising arts education continues in state schools and colleges. Now, I will not ask honourable members to take my word for it, Mr Mundell. Earlier this week, I spoke to Hugh Bonneville, and yes, I am willing to name drop my friend, who wrote in his book, Playing Under the Piano, about a school visit that he attended in 2019 to a newly built academy that taught around 2,000 students. Now, it was an impressive school, but it had no music provision, no choir, no band, no studio space for drama or dance, and the students who were working on scenes from Romeo and Juliet were pushing the bookshelves to one side in a corner of the library to create a rehearsal space. And as Hugh wrote in his book, how on earth is the next generation of those who drive the multi-billion-pound entertainment and creative industries to be discovered or even to take part? The current structure of the baccalaureate is opposed by teachers, education experts, trade unions, artists, and the creative sector. Perhaps more importantly, a survey by the Cultural Learning Alliance concluded that one of the advantages of arts-based studies include stronger educational attainment generally, and there are well-acknowledged connections between participation in the performing arts and stronger self-motivation, as well as improved physical and mental well-being and the development of inner resilience. Any organisation or charity currently working to support young people will tell you of the acute mental health crisis our young people face. An example of this would be Young People's Shop, which is a charity operating in Chichester that, alongside its counselling service, also runs arts-based group sessions, recognising the link between mental health and creative expression. The Liberal Democrats have long called for a mental health professional in every school, which is something I applaud, and given the connection I've laid out, I would strongly advocate for working closely with any creative arts provision in the school as an outlet for expression and stress relief. Now, I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the role that outside organisations play in giving our young people a creative education. And some of my happiest memories are evenings spent rehearsing at my local amateur dramatic society for the upcoming panto, or Thursday evenings throughout the year with my friends at Chichester Festival Youth Theatre. And I paid tribute to organisations like CFT, with one of the most ambitious youth theatres in the country. And they acknowledged that their youth theatre was not reaching the communities that would benefit from the access as well as it could. So they created 7 satellite youth theatres across West Sussex. That ensured that each of those communities had access to top quality education as well as classes for students with additional needs, theatre-based courses for school refusers and those out of mainstream education, and even launching a technical youth theatre for those young people who are far more interested in the workings of the backstage rather than the front. Now, I recognise how lucky we are in Chichester to have a theatre like CFT that puts learning and participation at the core of everything it does, but I want every child in this country to have the opportunity that this affords my constituents. And I happily give way to my honourable friend.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I'd like to thank her for securing this debate. Wales is obviously very proud of its reputation for producing great musicians, actors and actresses, and I won't try and name them all lest I forget people. But she talked of the difficulties that people entering the profession have, and the worrying fact that those numbers might be dropping off. How does she think our state is best placed to encourage people to go into the profession? Is it through buildings, investing in buildings, or investing in education, or something else?
I thank the honourable friend for his intervention, and I think it's both. I think it's about making spaces that are accessible to communities to be able to explore the creative industries, but it's also something that government can do, which is government money can be used more wisely in consolidating those funding pots so that they are utilised to best effect, which will focus on specialist world-class providers delivering both in communities and also via our education system. I'd like to finish, Mr Mundell, by reflecting that since the general election, the government has made all the right noises to suggest that a stronger emphasis may be put on creative education. So I would ask the Minister, when she responds to today's debate, to commit to a reform of the English Baccalaureate and to set out a timeline for our schools to reintegrate arts education into the core curriculum, as well as whether any further work will be done on the integration of in and out of school provision of arts education, such as additional funding for music hubs to include dance and drama. And finally, Mr Mundell, I'd like to thank the Council for Dance, Drama and Musical Theatre for their work in this area, and I would encourage the Minister in her spare time over the Christmas recess, in between enjoying carol concerts and pantomimes, to please give their manifesto for performing arts education a read. Thank you.
I would